And now, Tim Dillon is going to hell!
Welcome to Tim Dillon is Going to Hell, everybody. This is Tim Dillon. There will be no video for this episode because I am in New York City. This is the final episode from New York City. We are also changing the name of the show from Tim Dillon's Going to Hell to the Tim Dillon Show. We had a little contest for artists to submit sketches of what they thought the new show should, what the fucking Apple podcast art should be. And very quickly, somebody accused me of taking advantage of artists because I said I would get them free tickets and I would pay them to, like, if we use your art.
Free tickets to what?
To comedy shows. I said, listen, send the art in.
Yeah.
By the way, fully expecting we're using none of it. And guess what we're using? None of it.
Right.
And I fully expected that. He's saying, hey, send the art in because here's the thing. The way art works, a lot of these people look at all the other things I've done. That doesn't matter.
Right.
Your portfolio doesn't matter. I can still bomb. If you watch my special or you see me do something and you go, oh, that was funny, I liked him. And then you come see me and I bomb, I can still ruin your night by bomb. So if I think your portfolio is great, it doesn't mean that you're going to do something that I like.
Well, I mean, that is the only way you can go.
No, a sketch. You have to submit a sketch of what. Yeah. You got to give me an idea where you're going.
Sure.
So, and then if I was going to use the sketch,
right, I
will compensate you monetarily. Okay. But
if they send anything in and you don't use it, you'll still give them tickets.
No. No. What no, Ocasio-Cortez. No. People are sending stick figures in of me going, Epstein did 9/11, which I liked that one.
Right.
But you're not getting free tickets for sending it in. If I choose your art.
Well, here's the thing.
No, there is no thing, but go on.
Well, I'm agreeing with you because you want to start culling your fan base now. Because killing
them or culling them?
Give or take. My point is, you want a loyal mercenary fan base. You want like a pest army, if you will. You want something you can people who will be in for the 10-year run. You don't want people you're gonna get me a ticket. Fuck that. They do it just to fucking talk to you.
I want the FBI to know who we are.
Right.
You know what I mean?
What's below? What are the Proud Boys? Are they terrorists? Are they considered a terrorist organization?
I think they knocked them back down.
Whatever below that is.
Yeah, just right below that.
Yeah, you want to be on the board going, who are these guys?
We want to be on a corkboard somewhere in Jersey and having some low-level FBI agent go, let's keep tabs on them.
Right.
The YouTube views are growing. No, but my whole thing was, listen, send in the shit. If you like it, we'll give you some money. We'll give you a few $100, $500, whatever, if we use it.
Right.
And then some lunatic guy starts messaging me, goes, I've been ripped off by many podcasts. Kumi has made thousands of dollars selling my shirts. I'm like, dude,
stop giving them shirts.
If you've been ripped off by even one podcast, it's probably your fault, but let alone multiple ones. So I'm like, dude, I'm not going to take the art. This art was for the Apple podcast shit, for the thumbnail, whatever it is. It was not to put on shirts and sell and never compensate the artist. But again, of course, we have to,
if it's your your brand, your little icon, I mean, that's worth a few bits.
Yeah, you get a few bucks. Yeah. I would absolutely pay for that. But the shirts I'm going to sell will have quotes.
Oh, right.
That's the things I've said, more so than whatever.
I tried to sell.
Ray Kump is with us, by the way.
Hello.
I didn't introduce you.
Glad to be back.
They
know who I am. The new people.
The new people. We've gone up, so a lot of people don't know who you are.
Right. Should I say hello to Mr. Never mind.
To who? Who are you going to say hello to?
Your friend.
Who's my friend?
Mr.
Rogan? You think that's how you're going to get on the show?
I don't. Well, what am I going to do in the show? Talk about how I used to fucking.
So you don't want to get on the show?
I mean, I'll come on.
because you were very hostile for a minute. You're like, what am I going to do on the show?
No, but you're acting. You're acting.
What am I going to do?
I'm acknowledging that you're hanging out with a better class of people.
Listen to me. What am I going to go fly to California, wasting my goddamn time sitting on that fucking show? It's ridiculous.
If Rogan wants to ask me about how he used to take people's skin and put it on my hands to fingerprint the morgue, I have to put their skin on my hand. Like, he loved that shit.
Wouldn't it be hilarious if somehow you had the most controversial Rogan, like it wasn't Alex Jones?
Right.
Like YouTube throws him off, just gets rid of millions in ad rev because of you, because you're describing some crime you committed at the morgue.
It wasn't a crime. This was a procedure. This was a method I used.
Yeah.
Look, we were respectful to these bodies. We didn't fuck these bodies.
Most people, that sounded like something that Robert Mueller would say. Most people don't know this, but Ray, who did the show for 2.5 years with me, was a photographer at a Long Island morgue.
Right.
And then moved into other activities at your job. The scope of your job was enlarged.
Well, look, that first of all, that was part of my job.
Taking the photos.
The skin thing on the hand. Because I also had to take fingerprints. That was my job. But yes, sometimes I would clean the bodies, move the bodies on and off the x-ray table. One time they let me cut open a rib cage with a bolt cutter.
This is just fascinating.
I would milk the intestines into a cup.
Why would you milk the intestines?
Have you ever milked intestines?
No.
See?
I'm not against it.
I'm all for trying new experiences. I've never, left the country. I didn't go into an airplane until I was 34.
Right.
But, I did milk an intestine into a deli cup.
You did cut open a rib cage with bolt cutters.
Exactly.
Which was not technically what you were not hired to do that.
Right. No, look, if LeBron James is playing basketball, he's a power forward. He can't get a rebound.
That I don't know if that is a fitting analogy.
Maybe not.
That is really not the most fitting analogy.
No, I play all positions. Is my point.
Yeah, no, and I appreciate that. I would love for you to go on Joe's show and then discuss your career.
Sure.
At the morgue, which has ended tragically.
Also the mosquito lab, but
and then they moved to the mosquito lab. Yeah, interesting.
But my point,
when you talk about the dark side of Long Island,
right?
Which for us is the really only side. I mean, there's other sides to other, the seafood's good, but the rest of it, you've as somebody that worked at the morgue, you just saw.
Oh yeah,
the MS-13 body machetes, the machetes in the bodies, the drunks, the heroin ODs,
dead kid and the guy fucked to death with a tree branch in the ass.
Right.
The
dead babies,
dead baby in the freezer in the garbage bag on Christmas Eve.
Yeah, dead baby. In the freezer in a garbage bag on Christmas Eve.
He was frozen solid. We couldn't cut him. They couldn't cut him open until Christmas.
Yeah.
Overnight, let him thaw out.
And you had to cut him open on Christmas.
I didn't do that one. That was
a real Johnny Cash song.
They wouldn't let me, do extra stuff.
You really had to thaw baby out overnight on Christmas?
Yeah.
Really?
I wasn't there with one of those fucking, heat lamps. But, we left him in an area that wasn't refrigerated. And the next day, I was working Christmas that year. So what am I going to tell you? So we come in and on Christmas Day, we fucking had to cut open the kid.
So this is Christmas. Wow. Well, this is why me and Ray initially became friends, because I found these stories fascinating. The comedy industry did not.
No.
Networks did not. Like as my stories, they did not really.
They like the bagel guy.
Well,
I've seen you do a lot worse than the bagel guy, but
I thought he was tame.
Yeah.
I thought that bagel guy was pretty tame.
He didn't threaten anyone's life.
Dude, I told the story last week on this show. I was in a Taco Bell, a morbidly obese woman with purple hair was screaming at the cashier going, "I'm a vegan. I just ate sour cream. Don't you think that's a fucking problem?" I asked if there was no sour cream in this, and I just ate sour cream. She goes, "I've been a vegan for almost a year." And the lady can barely understand English, the cashier. And then
her kid's in a cage somewhere.
This fat lady with the purple hair looks at me. She goes, "They don't care. This restaurant doesn't care." And I said, here's the thing people don't realize about Long Island. Point the camera in any direction, you get bagel guy. And more.
Well, I've been in situations where, because old women will be as abusive as that guy.
Yeah.
I don't remember what, 10 years ago, probably, I was in a post office, I think in Hicksville, and this old woman was berating the fucking guy behind the counter because he didn't have her package, and she's being awful. So I took it upon myself. So shut up, you cunt! You get cancer! Get cancer! Like I started screaming. So you have situations where like you have people outdoing each other in public spaces, like trying to one up. Like the bagel guy, like should have had a counterpart. I mean, the guy beat him up, so I guess that counts. But usually it doesn't get physical.
I wish that had been a fat woman.
Yeah.
Like a fat female bus driver.
Against me?
Against Bagel Guy.
Right, yeah.
Just went in there and laid him out. But I was in Long Island today. I went with Schendlinger. I go to his beach club. I go to the beach clubs once a year here to remember the days when I was a king.
Right.
When I was an overweight, chain smoking, pool lifeguard at a beach club in Long Island. Eating food. Like people.
Any of the people there recognize you from your lifeguard days? Like
not really, no. You got because he's a member of a different beach club.
Oh, okay.
They barely recognized me when I shot my fucking pilot. The Comedy Central probably won't pick up at the same beach club.
Oh, that was your beach club?
That was my beach club that we shot the pilot.
And they did recognize you?
A few people.
Okay.
But the majority of them are gone. People move, the kids get older.
You've
whatever.
also put on a few pounds.
I've put on a few pounds.
Your skin doesn't look quite the same.
No, I mean, sadly, it doesn't look that different.
Oh, you had bad skin back then?
No, but I mean, it wasn't great.
Okay. Yeah.
So we're at the beach club and, for people that haven't been to a beach club, you pay money, you get this little cabana. It's like $8,000 for the year.
Right.
And you get access to a pool, which is whatever, and a private beach, and you can go in the water and whatever. One of the lifeguards jumped down, was like, I'm a fan. And I was like, thanks a lot, man, whatever. And then, so I was really happy. It was a fun day. We were only there for a few hours, I'm gawking at some 18-year-old kid. Scott's like, this is embarrassing. He's like, you're being very obvious. I was like, well, this is why they work out. Is it not why they work out?
Right.
Right. So you can't control. If you want to be hot.
Right.
Here's the thing, folks.
Well, with your hand in your pants?
I was in the pool. So here's the thing, folks.
Yeah, but you can still see the forearms kind of floating towards your fat gut. And it's like, yeah, he seems like he might be touching himself. They know.
I was adjusting my gut. Sure. Getting ready. I was getting ready to go for it. But I didn't. And here's the thing. I know this may be unpopular in a Me Too world.
Right.
But if you lead with hot, if you're fucking hot, and this kid was in his college, whatever.
Sure.
But like, you can't control. Yeah, a lot of hot girls will like you. But guess who's also going to be attracted to you?
Oh, yeah.
Me.
No, sure.
Sorry.
And also, like, why don't fat women swoon over men like that?
I don't know.
Yeah, because would you say that most gay guys who have a similar demeanor to you are as open about, not that you're like a predator.
I'm not a predator, but I can go undercover and pretend to be straight.
You could, yeah.
And be like, hey, let's be bros. Let's hang out.
Oh, this sounds menacing.
Well, let's be friends.
Right.
Let's start an organic friendship because you're a young man. I'm an older man and I know a little bit about the world. Not a lot. I mean, I don't have credit, but
he has better credit than you do.
I don't have a lot to share, but that's the thing. It's like this kid gave me kind of a weird look because I was staring at him. It's like, dude, don't you get that's what this is?
Did you have sunglasses on? Were you being kind of looking to the side? No, so you were just without no glasses on, nothing. You weren't even playing it cool. You were just gawking at a guy. Yeah, I mean, no one
staring right at his kidney.
Ooh. Like, also, wait, from the back?
No, is a kidney in the back? I thought it was in the front.
Right here.
Then he turned around. I was looking at his kid, but I mean, I was staring at him.
Oh, you staring where his dick V would be.
He was an attractive gentleman. Yeah. He was a lifeguard, and I was looking at him. And I don't do that
with women. I don't just
can you stop?
I don't want to mean in some kind of progressive. Yeah, I'm trying to white knight my way into a fucking TV show. I'm saying.
Well, that's by the way, if you white knight your way into a TV show, I will be nothing but impressed.
Rape is just a disgusting thing. I have a new show about my psoriasis.
Listen, this fall, Tuesdays at 10, I've white knighted myself into this. It is a safe space. Have you ever caught yourself looking at a lovely lady.
Of course, but you treat it like the sun. You don't just like stare at it for fucking like minutes on end.
I was too much looking.
Yeah.
Too much looking.
Right.
And I realized that.
Yeah.
I realized that. But this is the way it is. So if you're a hot guy out there,
you deserve it.
All these hot guys think, oh, women get gawked at all the fucking time. Oh, right. You can't get gawked at?
Yeah.
Maybe somebody can't grab your dick.
That's the thing. Maybe you're balancing the scales.
I am.
You're doing more than any of these Me Too people.
I like the way you're going.
Yeah.
I like the turn this made.
Turn around is fair game.
I like this turn.
Yeah.
I think I'm doing my part because I think men need to know what it feels like to be ogled.
Right.
By an ogre.
Yeah.
And they're not.
Yeah, because it wouldn't be ogling otherwise. It would just
because all these jokes,
be mutually attractive people
all these
who might
jokes that these fucking young kids do, they get on stage like, when gay guys hit on you, it's cool, and you're always like, no matter what, you're always like, I hope the guy likes me. Like, it's all these, it's this breed of humor now where a good-looking guy will get up on stage and talk about how gay guys are very direct, but women are not. And it's a lot of people have this similar type of joke.
Gay guys are direct. That's not. Is that you don't think that's true, do you?
Well, yeah,
maybe sexually direct.
Well, that's what I mean.
Okay.
Like if you're in a bar and a gay guy wants to fuck you, they'll go up to you and be like, "Hey, buddy."
Right.
Whereas a woman, it's a more of a dance.
Yeah.
So there's this kind of comedy, but it always assumes usually that the gay guy is a certain type of gay guy or whatever. Right. Maybe has a little money and shape guy. What about me?
You got a little peg leg.
What about me?
You got some bean burrito stain on your fucking pants.
If I go up to you and I'm like, "Hey, boys."
You smell like nachos and halitosis.
What is halitosis?
Your breath, your shitty breath.
Oh, I don't know what that is.
It's like a habitual bad breath.
Yeah, interesting. I think I'm
just saying you're not perfumed. You're not a perfumed homosexual man.
Right. Well, I'm not. I'm not a perfect person.
You don't smell like fucking dog.
No, I smell good. But I think people should. I think. Well, number one, traditional masculinity is under attack.
Sure.
Under attack in this country.
I mean, look.
Which is why a man like yourself or a man like myself is not respected, but these Zac Efron bitches are. These pretty boys.
I feel like
in the 1970s, Brian Dennehy was a man that got pussies wet.
Right.
Do you understand what I mean?
Was Brian Dennehy a sex symbol?
I believe to an extent.
I mean, okay.
In my conception of history, he was, because I was around Irish women.
Yeah. Okay. When did he start? Was he an actor before he was 50?
I don't know.
Okay. But is he dead now?
I don't know.
Anyway, no. Look, I feel like I'm actually in the golden age for Ray Kump.
Yeah,
because it's like I'm not some kind of alpha Italian. Like,
hold on, I got a non-dairy Haagen-Dazs chocolate. I just got to put it in the freezer. Keep going.
Okay. I'm not one of these guys who's like, Italian. I'm not just disparaging the Italians, but they're more outgoing with their, their masculinity and their fucking, they put on the fucking brute or whatever Italian guys wears cologne and they go out to the club. I'm not that kind of masculine. I'm just kind of dirty and I wear the same shirt every day and I have psoriasis on my leg. And people, at least in Brooklyn, are so now unused to seeing anyone who isn't kind of, I don't know what you call it, not traditionally mad, that like they kind of seem to gravitate towards me. That I feel like there's a certain credence they give me that maybe I don't even have to demonstrate my bona fides.
Well, yeah, you are a hearkening of the apocalypse,
but they find it refreshing. Is my point,
and as they should.
Yeah,
people that are still trying to I've said this many times. When I meet somebody and they are optimistic about the future,
right?
I think they're mentally ill.
Doesn't make any sense.
They're mentally. I'm like, I don't know what set of statistics, beliefs. I mean, I'm lost, and that doesn't mean that you have to be a Debbie Downer. I'm a happy guy. You're a happy guy.
I'm enjoying.
We're having fun.
I'm making synthesizer music now.
You're doing electronic music.
Yeah,
it's no one asked for that, and you've put it out right into the world.
Right.
But to me, some of our cynicism is reflected in the way that we present.
Sure. I mean, look, no one is like inviting us into like the fucking the 8-way fuck thing going on in the Hamptons. You know,
no,
we have to work our way to sex. We have to,
you have to earn it.
Have a personality. And
you got to earn it.
I'm not just. If I take my pants down, it's hairy and it's fucking. You know, there's no dick fee. I got fucking. I can fuck. Yeah, I know how to fuck.
Right,
I got a decent dick.
I feel like you've given this speech to a judge.
Listen, I'm going to be very honest. I can fuck. I got a decent dick. I don't got a dick for you. I got a dick.
So we leave the beach club. We go to a restaurant. We go to a steakhouse. One of my favorite steakhouses, probably my favorite steakhouse on Long Island, Jimmy Hayes.
Oh, it's great. We went there once, yeah.
In Island Park, and we go there, and everything about Jimmy Hayes is great. It just feels racist, you know, like, and that's what a steakhouse should feel like. So don't fucking start with me. The pictures,
well, it also sounds racist.
right. Only if you listen to the conversations. The pictures are on the wall are all golfers. They got great food.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there. We have a great dinner, and Scott's got 2 little kids there, and they're like 3 or whatever. And they're holding it together for most of the meal, and then around dessert, they start to scream, and I'm like, let's get out of here. We can't have dessert. Now, Scott's, of course, upset because he wants every free thing he can get.
Right.
He wants every course.
Yeah.
He's like, I don't think they're that bad. I'm like, people spend a lot of money here to not hear kids screaming. Let's fucking get out of here. We'll get them an Italian ice or whatever, right? So then Scott does this, which is like, there's 3, we get a Chateaubriand for 2, which is like a porterhouse, but it's the filet cut, whatever. There's 3 little bits of meat left. And I go, the guy goes, you want to take it home? I go, no. Scott's like, you should take it home. I go, no. He goes, take it home. You know how you like steak and eggs? You can make steak and eggs the next morning. I go, hey, fuckhead. I'm not walking around with 3 things of meat in a bag.
It's like little pieces.
Yeah, little pieces. I'm like, but so we're in a car and he like doesn't let it go.
Yeah.
He's like, I can't believe you didn't take the steak home. And I'm like, dude. And he got mad at me because I said to him, I'm like, dude, you have like a weird poverty mentality where you're like panicked that there won't be more steak. Like there's gonna be more food. You don't have to hold on to the little morsels you have like it's the Oregon Trail. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if it's a poverty mentality because I know the guy. He's a nice guy. I like the guy.
I like him too.
But he's got like a low-level grifter thing going on.
Well, that's part of it is that, I guess. But like to me, my whole thing is like, I was never a fan of the to-go.
No.
To-go
it looks trashy.
It looks, not only does it look trashy, it's never good.
Here's the thing. You bring it home to your like, if you got kids who are like 13.
Yeah.
It's a nice thing when my parents would bring something home. It was nice. I still think they looked like trash bags earlier in the evening, bringing it out. But
yeah. And you know what would be nice? How about cooking those kids dinner instead of bringing them home something? But like, to me, the doggy bag concept, it says exactly what it is. You're a dog.
No,
you're a dog.
This is important to us.
Yeah.
This was a big night.
Yes. I don't want any of this. Have you ever seen in a restaurant someone take like literally a tablespoonful of mac and cheese and put it like a coffee cup with a little lid over it? It makes me, I want to go insane.
I remember I think one of the first times you took me to Walensky's.
Yeah.
And it was amazing. It was a great meal.
Yeah.
Fantastic. And I remember I looked around and go, you know what's weird is that for a lot of these people, this is just like the diner.
Right.
And like there's nothing this is just what they eat like every other day.
Right.
And that's where we should be. That's what you should aspire to. Well, not being like, this was we saved up, we scraped and skimmed for this.
Yeah. We say a whole year. Right. We put away pennies. Right. We took a jar of change down. We turned in a bunch of cans and this guy's got money. He's in a house, got a brand new car. Enough. I'm not shitting on poor people. I've been in shitty spots where I ate a wooden bowl of baked beans and sauerkraut.
Oh, sure.
When I was living in Manhattan in that fucking tenement and shit. Right. And I will probably again.
You mean when you were pretending to be a victim of Sandy?
Yes. The wounds were psychological. I got 11 hunch from FEMA.
Nice.
And all I lost was a Gin Blossom CD that I used to fucking do lines off of. But you remember that when I tried to claim to be a victim of Sandy?
Oh, yeah, but you were watching Breaking Bad the whole time.
Great. I was living in a 5-story walk-up. I was living with crazy comedians. 5-story walk-up. I'm on the 5th floor. I got a door. I got no door. I got a curtain. Leads into my room. We had bed bugs like 3 times in a year. There was a rat in the lobby. The shower was in the kitchen of the building. But I loved it because I was 25. I was like doing stand up. I'm like, this is my dream. I love it. I mean, on the roof smoking cigarettes. It was all cool.
Right.
And then Sandy happened. And everybody I know, all of my friends in Long Island are like huddled in their driveway with guns. People are trying to rob their houses.
I had no power for a week.
You had no power for a week. Everybody's fucked. I'm watching Breaking Bad.
Yeah.
Kind of mad that the frozen yogurt place didn't switch the flavors.
Yeah.
I was like, whoa, we're not gonna rotate. There's nothing new. But my part of New York City, Hell's Kitchen, 45th between 8th and 9th Avenue, did not lose any fucking power.
Right.
But then I found out that FEMA was giving out a little cash. FEMA was giving out cash.
So that's why it's smart that you never, you never officially change residences.
Correct. But I tried to sing the song. And they're like, listen, we usually give people 35 hunch. We're going to give you 11 hunch.
Oh, they smelled it on you.
They smelled a little fraud on me.
But it was kind of like Christmas on Long Island. It was like everyone was like, there was I profited off because I remember I was at the morgue and the county was trying to do a scam with FEMA. Here's what happened. This is fascinating. I don't know. I have to say allegedly, I guess, because this is just a speculation we did. But basically, they set up these different locations, mostly in schools or in town halls. These FEMA, I don't know, like what do you call them? They're these centers, like these emergency centers. It was basically just information. You'd have official insurance guys from the state who'd come help you out, tell you how to fucking file your claims and shit. Now, the morgue was part of the health department, and they wanted basically everyone was allowed to go and work this thing, and the health department had their flyers with don't get fucking black mold or whatever. And there was no cap. And we were making huge overtime. So I would go after work and get 8 hours of fucking, go there for 8 hours. Just basically, I would hand out flyers if people came by, but no one really came by much. And here's the thing. Why were they doing it? Because the fucking county, we believe, was trying to profit because the state was going to reimburse them, but for more money. This is Long Island. They're trying to pay us for charity or whatever or volunteer work so they can get reimbursed for more from the state, and it backfired and they lost all their money.
What people don't understand is if America is largely, not all, but largely a group of incredibly selfish, dishonest people.
Right.
Let's just say that's a lot of us.
Yeah.
Okay. If that's the case, Long Island is a concentration of that,
right?
In a way that's hard to believe unless you've spent any significant amount of time there. When Sandy happened, people automatically thought about how it could be used for their benefit.
Right.
Okay. Now, some people were genuinely hurt and their lives were destroyed.
Right.
But then there were many people, a lot of people, who used that for the next 7 years as an excuse.
Well, look, these people, you're one always pointing this out. These people live their lives waiting for their parents to die. They're grown people. They have their own house, but their retirement plan is their dead mother. And they have their own house because they took equity out of their mother's house for a down payment. Exactly.
Yeah. No.
And so that does something to you. That informs the way you live.
It's an entitlement that's become so deeply ingrained in them. It's cultural.
Right.
Long Island, it's a cultural entitlement in Long Island where people feel entitled to a house.
Right.
That doesn't exist. You go anywhere, these fuckers feel entitled to a house. And by the way, these aren't this isn't like the Kennedys where it's a level of privilege backed with education and to a degree service, right. Or even let's be cynical and say the service is only to dominate others. It's still part of the plan.
Yeah.
I feel entitled to a house simply because I was shit out in Mercy Hospital or Nassau County Medical Center or LIJ. I have no education. I have no marketable skills. I'm a medical biller. I work at I wear a doctor's outfit, but I'm not a doctor. I'm a fucking receptionist at a massage parlor.
Right. I've worked retail jobs where the assistant, the manager, but they got me $50,000 a year probably.
Yeah.
But taking shit from the boss, and the boss is a millionaire, taking shit from the boss all the time, and goes, "Oh, fuck him. When my dad dies in 30 years, I'm gonna have $1 million." And like he meant it. It wasn't like it's like this is how these people cope with doing nothing.
People openly discuss this.
Yeah.
This isn't a hidden thing that they're waiting for their parents to die.
Right.
This isn't like swept under the rug. It's right out in front.
Yeah.
It's a big thing. When I do jokes about it, people laugh.
Yeah.
They get it because some people are more open with it than others.
Right.
But it's not hidden.
Right.
It's not hidden. And I would just, I was sitting there with Scott. I picked up the tab. It was expensive. I had no problem with it. We had a great thing. And then he said to me, we got in an argument on the way home. So I'm like, dude, it's this mentality, this grimy, you're clinging, like there'll be more food.
Right.
It's going to be okay. You're not in a situation where you need no one is on Long Island. Nobody walking out with leftovers from Texas Roadhouse needs them. These are not people that aren't going to find, there's going to be more mac and cheese next week. Don't worry, folks, But I'm leaving New York. I thought I was going to hold on to my apartment. I'm not holding on to my apartment. Describe what you're looking at. You've been here, bud.
Yeah, I've been here before. Look, it looks like you're basically you're just like 25th hour, and you're going to the penitentiary tomorrow, and you're just kind of settling your affairs and like. This actually looks like the place where Brooks hung himself in Shawshank.
It does.
That kind of place. It's like I don't know. The radiators from before the Depression.
The doors are like school doors.
Yeah.
They're weird school doors that have like glass, and they're wood and glass, but it's a type of glass where you can't really see in.
No, yeah. They look like they were broken down when a Japanese family lived here during the World War II.
And I moved to LA already, but I thought I was just going to keep this apartment because I was going to come back to New York a lot. And then I just made the decision. I'm kind of done.
Yeah, you value maybe to a fault even.
Yeah.
A lack of hassle.
Right.
Like this place is kind of a lack of, but it's for many reasons a depressing place to lay your head.
But what happens to me is a lack of hassle becomes hassle.
Right.
That's a lot of.
Look, that is part of the game. Because
how many friendships do I have that you've rightly pointed out?
Right.
I get something out of it.
Yeah.
But the insanity that comes with it,
right,
is so far outweighs. And then I realized I had this epiphany. I'm like, oh, I'm not even like a smart player. I'm addicted to insanity.
Well, here's the thing.
I just kind of like crazy people.
Yeah, because the people I don't think you say his name on the air, but like your friend from the mortgage place or whatever,
Howie.
Yeah, Howie. Yeah.
Like
you look up to these, or not look up. Right. You value these people, but you're intelligent, you have talent, and you're succeeding at something.
Yeah.
These people who keep all these balls in the air, it's because they're living in like the day-to-day hustle, and that's all they have.
Right.
And that's like there's certain things to admire there, but like
why do I like them?
Because you have a romantic view of the Kensington street urchins and fucking the Confederacy of dunces, and you like low level hustlers,
right?
But you also weren't hanging around St. Mark's getting stabbed all the time by them.
No,
I feel like you grew up. You want the old New York, and you like what they represent, because the alternative is disgusting. Also,
right?
I mean, it really is gross. If nothing else, they help clean out some of the these gentrifying. I mean, I'm gentrifying too, I guess, to an extent. But whatever. Point is,
you're not gentrifying. You're de-gentrifying. Anyone who sees you, the prices go down.
I think I shouldn't feel bad.
You did not feel.
I'm counteracting.
Absolutely,
I like myself. No, but that's the problem, and you're not. They're not. These these guys aren't written by Gilbert and Sullivan.
There's something about
they're actually stupid low level people are boring. The Hustle is actually kind of boring.
Well,
in real life.
I've started to realize that. I was talking to a friend of mine recently. I won't say their name, and I was talking to her, and I realized I was going, you know what? For all of the madness that these people bring into my life, that a lot of it is very funny.
Right.
A lot of it is it's never boring. It's very funny. But here's the thing, and you just kind of hit the nail on the head. It does start to get boring.
Right.
It actually does start to, because you realize these people never evolve in any way. And a lot of them are just deeply selfish people
Right.
who are afraid to grow and evolve. So what they do is they have these crazy lives, and they populate their lives with crazy characters. But at the end of the day, it's just a fucking excuse to never account for their own behavior. That's what it is.
Yeah.
That's really what it is.
Oh, right. Yeah. No, it's like, I mean, you've seen it. These are the same people you probably hung out with who were, whose kids were, on Easter Sunday fucking,
It's a joke I have in my act
Right,
now,
yeah.
where I go to a bar on Easter Sunday and, well, I don't want to give my joke away, but whatever.
Right.
I mean, it's all over social
Point
media.
is, while the mom's in the bar getting drunk.
Right.
Point is, like, it all seems fun in a joke.
Right.
But like when you actually know that person, it's just kind of sad. And also, like, you never, it's like, when are you going to get your act together? That's that feeling
Right.
of like, how many times can you tell someone? Like,
There's something I liked about the freedom, though, I will be honest, and I still like, about people that resist convention. And there was something about a lot of the people that I knew in that period, and a lot of them were drunks and a lot of them were not. But there, you look at some of the people that I'm around now in the entertainment business and like the cognitive dissonance some of them have, where
sure.
they're the good guys,
Right.
they're the resistance. And, and then you look at their lives and you go, oh, you're doing the exact same things as all the people that you hate.
Right.
Really. I mean, literally.
I think the moral of the story is there's no one to look up to except Robert Mueller
Yeah.
for his
that's
Vietnam
it.
service. I mean, every senator, I don't know if you watched any of this fucking hearing. But
No,
like,
what was that like?
It was just, it's not what he said he was going to do. He was going to, I can't answer that. I want to elaborate, read the report.
Yeah.
Why'd you bring me here?
Right.
But also every fucking congressman was like, thank you for serving in Vietnam. Would you know he just fucking like, he torched some village and like fucking.
Yeah. Aren't these the people that were rightly against Vietnam?
Right.
Aren't these the people that didn't want Vietnam?
Right. He actually, I was reading about this.
Mr. Mueller, in 20 years, it'll be like, thank you for your service at Guantanamo Bay. Now tell us about.
I was reading this today. He was in the Marine Corps in Vietnam, did it for a year, told his wife, I'm thinking about staying, doing this forever. And she's like, what? And then they transferred him to like a desk job and he like quit. His quote was, I didn't relish the Marine Corps absent combat. This guy just liked killing fucking peasants.
God, I didn't relish the Marine Corps absent my boot on somebody's neck. Nice. Folks, we have talked endlessly about the importance of having a website on this show. I think I've moved many of you to understand why you need to have a website, even in a world that is rapidly collapsing. In no time, we will probably have massive civil unrest. We will have certainly climate emergencies, probably more disasters, climate change, things like that. We'll probably have a crisis in the legitimacy of the government and ruling institutions. I can't see how we won't. Perhaps a separation of the military and the political structure. I'm just looking at some of the signs. I mean, this could potentially not happen as well. I don't know. You might see a total takeover of all available platforms by a technocracy, where everything you say becomes some type of advertisement for something. And we're all just selling each other things. I don't know. Maybe that's preferable. I don't know. And I don't care. All I want for all of you is to have a place to put your content so that people can see it. Go to timdillonsgoingtohell.com, TIMDILLONS, goingtohell.com. There is no is, just the S, Dillon's Going to Hell. It was a site built using Wix. Wix is really amazing. So many stunning templates. They are stunning. Automated drag and drop website builder, very easy to use, even if you're not that bright, and I assume many of you are not. They have an artificial design intelligence, Wix ADI. It's what Andrew Yang is talking about. So you don't have to do anything. You can just answer a few simple questions, and Wix is going to design your website for you. So even in this time of potential chaos, of devolution, we must think about being on brand. It's very important that we stay on brand through the apocalypse. How to do that? Have a website where you can embed video, text, links. I'm telling you, nobody will be helped in an end time scenario by people that do not have a well-defined brand. You get it? People want hard lines around you. They want to know that you are a fully fleshed out thing. They can look and listen and go, we get it. That's essential. Even in a time when small groups of people are fighting over resources, you should be a well-defined brand. People need to know what they're getting. Okay? So do me a favor. Go to timdillonsgoingtohell.com. Wix will give you 10% off any premium plan. Over 150 million people have built their website using Wix. timdillonsgoingtohell.com. Wix will give you 10% off any premium plan. I mean, you know, what did you say about the 9/11 thing? That was fun. Bring that up.
Well, he took the job of FBI director the week before 9/11, and he retired a few months after the Boston bombing. So his career is nicely bookended. And, you know, look, I don't know if the FBI really did anything that wrong in the ensuing years. I mean, you know, were they involved in renditions and secret tours? I mean, who knows?
I think I would always,
of course they
my
were.
default is,
of course they were. You know? Of course they were.
Right.
I mean, like, that's the thing. Look, he seems to have done a relatively professional job, but you're losing sight of the fact he ran the FBI for 10 years.
Yeah, he's
one of the most corrupt organizations I've ever seen in my life.
What we're living in upside down, topsy-turvy world where we have Bush torture era apologists on MSNBC,
right,
and we have, you know, Ann Coulter on, like siding with InfoWars. Now, so it's like, it's really, nothing means anything.
Right.
Nobody has any values. Nobody cares
right
about, you know, what their entire worldview was 6 months ago. You know, it's a constantly churning. And the thing with the Mueller investigation to me is we're no longer watching the movie. Like, for lack of a better way to like explain things,
right,
that movie's over.
Yeah.
And we're not watching anymore.
Sure.
Twitter's watching it.
Right.
You know, the blue check marks, they're still heavily invested in it. The idea that you could maybe get Trump on obstruction when the sole central case that you cannot prove that him or his team conspired directly with them. It's not proven.
Well, I think here's the thing, and this is usually contentious because he wouldn't answer it, and I think he's trying to preserve the evidence for after Trump leaves office when they can actually charge him, because he's very much seems to be of the opinion that
Trump will not leave office. He's going to die in office, and then Ivanka will take over, and we're talking maybe 2030.
That sounds fun. But seriously, like, he's fucking, because I think there's that whole Justice Department thing where you can't charge a sitting president or indict a sitting president. And so he's kind of sticking to that. So I don't think he's saying that you couldn't get him on obstruction. I think he's just saying, I'm not allowed to get him on obstruction. But after we do, but he's not trying. He's trying not to fuck the evidence.
I guess this is a big deal if you weren't really.
But you lost. Here's the thing. Yeah. I believe he did a lot of stuff wrong.
Yes.
I don't know if he concluded on purpose, but the way
if you didn't think Trump was a criminal, right, I guess this is good for you.
Right. The way he acted after the fact, I mean, clearly on the surface, if it's not obstruction of justice, it might as well. But it's not becoming of anything to do with the Republic. That being said, politically speaking, you lost. And now you're just, these Democrats have no sense of how they're appearing to the other side. That's what bugs me.
Well, like, it's also the idea that, like, there are issues to run on.
Yeah.
There are issues to run on. You have a guy that has not really fulfilled any of his campaign promises. You have a broken healthcare system.
Do you think that Kamala Harris should say, I'm going to really fucking build this wall?
Well,
I'm going to fucking build an even bigger wall.
I think if Democrats continue to run on that open borders and that there is that they're going to provide health care for anybody who comes to the country illegally,
right,
and that that any kind of migration is asylum seeking, which is not the case. And if the standard for asylum seeking is that you're coming from a violent place, that's everywhere in the world. That's so many places.
Sure.
That's literally billions of people.
To be fair.
Yeah.
We like these places are kind of fucked up. And not every case necessarily, but a lot of cases because of,
I 100%.
We're over there fucking,
Listen, I am with you 100%.
Right.
And if somebody would like to tell me how
sure.
to unwind the military industrial complex,
right,
I will, within reason,
sure.
I would listen, Tulsi has some good ideas. I think maybe I'll support Bernie because he's the only one that's not on a conga line with Jeffrey Epstein. That's nice.
Are the rest of them supporting him?
No, Trump, Clinton, they've all been at Epstein's party. There's something nice about one guy that's not.
Do you think it's kind of like when a drug kingpin goes away and his turf is up for grabs? Like with Epstein, like the other elite pedophiles are like vying for his kids?
Well, his kids are adults now.
But no, he was fucking them this year even.
Oh, that's true.
These people in
about to say his kids have one-woman shows that are being positively reviewed.
Oh, no,
the Epstein kids are there. Right. I don't know how Epstein goes down. I do think that it has a potential to be a big scandal. I do think you're going to see a lot of bold-faced names. Okay. I do think what will happen, unfortunately, is you're going to see so many bold-faced names. It's going to have the opposite effect where people are going to be like, they all can't be doing this.
Right.
And yes, they can. But I think that is going to make people go, you know what? I'm sure some of them were. Like, there's this great thing that the media is doing already where they're focusing on Trump and Clinton, right? Epstein, Trump, and Clinton.
Which we were on 2 years ago.
Everybody was on it. Yeah. Mullen and Kump, everybody was. And by doing that, people are at home being like, well, it's a wash. Right. Trump, Clinton. And it's like, no, not only is it not a wash, it has nothing to do. Like Bill Maher, who talked about that years ago about something else. He goes like, the Republicans are really good at like, it's a wash.
Right.
Where it's like, they do the Swift boat veterans and then they're like, it's a wash. Yeah, whatever. And it's like, no, it's not a wash. One guy didn't show up for the service. Right. One guy went, served.
And a bunch of fake Swift boat guys.
Yeah.
It wasn't even real. Dude, it's evil, but it's the greatest move ever.
It's one of the greatest political stunts of all time.
You got Swift boated.
The Swift boat veterans for truth.
Veterans for truth.
And people are like, why don't you respect this country? Why aren't you hopeful for the future of this country? Guys, the Swift, think of the name. The Swift boat veterans for truth. Explain this briefly, right?
All right, so basically John Kerry, this is the 2004 election?
Yeah.
After the Iraq War started.
Two guys, both in skull and bones.
Yeah. George W. Bush started the Iraq War. Everyone's mad at him.
Right.
And Kerry's going to run. And the Democrats are all afraid because, no one's got a war record. And they're all going to say, you're soft on defense because 9/11 is still a thing.
Right.
So Kerry's like, hey, fuck you. I was in Vietnam. That was his whole thing. I served in Vietnam. I was a commander of a Swift boat or whatever. And, I fucking served my country. And so you can't try and punk me out. So they had a problem.
Right.
But Karl Rove is, a wily guy. So he fucking gets these guys. He starts his organization, gets these guys to start the organization called Swift Boat Veterans for Truth. And now, I think in actuality, none of them served with Kerry. None of them knew Kerry. I'm not sure if they were in the military. But their story was that they served with Kerry. And his story, he had a story about like saving someone off a Swift boat. And like jumping on a grenade or something.
I think one of them's on InfoWars all the time. I forget.
And they just fucking and they just hammered him. They fucking went out there. None of it was true.
Right.
And they fucking get like, we saw him. He ran away. He actually threw a grenade at the soldiers. So shit.
He was there working for Charlie.
Yeah.
He was there working. Yeah. So they tar the guy and he loses the election, which I fell for that. Like I was in that mindset of like falling for that when I was younger because liberals are so annoying as people that they turn you off on a level where even if they're right, you're reluctant.
Well, it's the whole thing of like George W. Bush is a moron. Like he wasn't a bright guy, like objectively, but like there's never any nuance to it.
There's never any nuance.
Like, you really think this guy is a complete imbecile? No, he's like
the idea is that the people that were saying that were never people that I looked at it. Like it was always like, oh, okay.
Some guy at the deli, some guy who's fucking making a sandwich.
Whatever.
What a fucking idiot.
Well, no, they liked Bush, but it was always some public school teacher where it's like, oh, great, okay, thank you. What do you do? Hand out folders? But it's a time now where, when you look at the Epstein news, and we've had a lot of, first of all, I think it's kind of hilarious. And let's, even though I like these guys, I love that, like, we've had Russ Baker on the show. Right. We had Nick Bryan on the show.
Well, I saw Nick Bryan's name in the news. Yeah.
Well, now,
did he break this story? Or
No, but this is my point.
Okay.
This is my point. Okay. These two guys that we've had on this fucking show act like nothing can ever get to the level of whatever. And then this Julie K. Brown at the Miami Herald breaks this thing wide open. Right. Where are these two?
Right.
Where are the, now Nick Bryan was on the story a long time ago. That's great.
Right.
And he probably got disgraced. And now there is this moment in the media, and Baker even talked about it.
He had Epstein's black book?
Yeah, and he leaked it to Gawker.
Okay. But is it before or after this whole thing?
Before, years ago.
Okay.
Baker talked about this once. He goes, there's a moment in every story when it's okay, and then all the media, like the dam breaks, and the media is allowed to go after it. And now we're in that moment, And it's just kind of hilarious now. They're like all these business insiders, like, what is this temple on his island? And is this door meant to keep people in? And it's not. It's just painted that way. But like, I love, like, it's hilarious. Like, we have an ex-president, Bill Clinton, being like, I was never on the pedophile island.
Well, it reminds me of the whole thing with when we started getting into this whole child, not getting into, researching it.
Yeah.
And like, they put the fucking the goat head on.
Right.
It's like, you're fucking kids. Isn't that enough?
Right.
And these people but people get like wrapped up in the Satanism of it. No, he's fucking kids.
Right.
Doesn't matter if there's a temple on the fucking island. Who gives a shit? Oh, is he chanting while he's stuffing his fucking dick into an 8-year-old's ass?
I think what it is there's an element of it that when you start to include that other stuff, for whatever reason, is so like it's such a paradigm shift,
right?
That it starts to break down any.
Well, they could cope with Hasker, for instance. Like Dennis Hasker was Speaker of the House, right? Or Majority Leader. I think
Speaker of the House,
and he was a convicted pedophile. I think he might be still in jail. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
And like no one did not, but the idea that there's like an underground society or like a secret, like a skull and bones of pedophiles.
Well,
it captivates
the idea that, and this has been said, I forget whose quote this was, that, the ruling classes, it's like they're into things that are, worse than I think somebody reviewing Nick Bryan's book said, if this stuff is true, it's that certain members of the ruling class are into stuff that's worse than, Caligula's dream, like really depraved stuff. And I think, when you get into that stuff, whether it's MK Ultra, whether it's mind control, whether it's ritual abuse, when you start to read about that stuff, it's so it's like opening a door into literal hell.
Right.
And then you go, oh, none of this can be true. And then you start realizing, oh no, enough of it is true.
Well, here's the thing. I like boats. I like nice shrimp.
Yeah.
But that being said, you look at how hard, some of them inherit the money, but like rich people, a lot of times like go work their ass off and then devote their lives to this collection of resources. It can't all be for shrimp.
Right.
Right. Like there's a reason some of these people are fucking making these moves.
One of my favorite things you've ever said was, do you think we're not successful because we're not pedophiles? Right. That was maybe one of the greatest things you've ever said on the show.
Thank you.
You were like, maybe this is why things aren't working out for us.
Right. It's got, look, I wouldn't trade places with the pedophile.
Yeah.
But it's got to give you a drive.
Sure. But do you think they go down here? Does Clinton go down? No.
I think Epstein.
They're pinning this on a low-level senator. Somebody, some congressman, and it's going to be like from a state that some irrelevant guy who felt up somebody, probably didn't even come, is going down.
Right.
Somebody.
The guy holding the camera.
Yeah, the guy, he didn't even make it to the island.
Right.
He prematurely ejaculated on the boat or on a raft over.
He was bringing over like a 17-year-old. Like, what are you doing with that? He's like the fucking yuts.
Yeah, he's going down.
Yeah. I mean, here's the thing. I think, because look, if it is Trump and fucking Clinton fucking children on an island.
Yeah.
Then if that's really what happened, where like, cause like, look, it's possible Clinton was just fucking whores on the island or never. I mean,
no.
All right, fair enough. But my point is, but I'm saying if it was,
here's a great point.
Yeah,
Clinton could fuck whores anywhere. Like there is this.
Yeah, but this. Well, I mean, fair enough.
No, there is this idea. Listen.
No, fair enough. Fair enough. My point is, if that's what's going on, you don't think Epstein knows he's going to get fucking whacked?
Yeah,
I'm thinking they can't get to him.
So Epstein's in a very secure jail that we went and stood outside of it because we were going to film a scene outside of it when I was dressed up like that girl and I was grinding on his front door.
All right, then what? Do he have to spend the rest of his life in the hole because he can't go anywhere? He doesn't want that, so he's going to fucking play ball to a certain extent. He's not going to flip on that kind of shit,
right?
Like what? So he can get off, and then what?
Well,
like what's going to happen? I mean, I would be
Ghislaine Maxwell, who's his partner.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I don't know what she knows. Probably a lot.
Right.
She was kind of recruiting these girls.
Ghislaine
Bryant.
Yeah.
I don't think, no, it's not Lane Bryant.
Lane
Bryant's a fat woman. No,
don't they own Victoria's Secret? They own.
No, that's Les Wexner, who gave Epstein all his money.
Okay.
And Epstein's hedge fund's probably just Lex Wexner's money and a slush fund and whatever. I said it was probably washing dark money. And then you were like, yeah, but they have that kind of money. They don't really need human trafficking money. And I'm like, yeah, but why leave it on the table?
Fair enough.
You know what I mean? You think you're going to say no? It's big money, you know?
Sure.
I think, and it's so funny, like Acosta literally has been quoted as saying, I was told Epstein belonged to intelligence. Not to worry about, not to push the you know?
Who's Acosta again?
He was the Secretary of Labor. He's the one that cut Epstein that sweetheart
that guy.
deal.
Yeah.
But it's so funny how he goes, yeah, he belonged to intelligence. And it's like, when will you people kind of wake up here? What would do it?
So your defense is like, I thought he was fucking these kids or letting people fuck these kids so we could find out secrets about Cuba.
I thought he belonged to intelligence. It's like, well, then what? Well, then why isn't that a problem?
Right.
What's the deal?
I mean, look, the CIA is definitely, we've talked about this for countless hours.
Yeah.
But I mean, look, he probably was. Look, you think that he would have been caught decades ago if it wasn't for, like, if you think that people are protecting him because he's flipping information
I think
to them?
technology is the internet, things like that have made it more difficult. I think victims are now able to find each other.
Right.
They're able to corroborate. You know, people are empowered now in ways that they would not have been years ago.
Right. But if he has that, right? Look, we know the CIA and these intelligence agencies engage.
But they'll hang people out to dry.
Of course
they hang their people out.
Of course they will. But my point is, we know they engage in their own sexual blackmail.
Yeah.
So if they got this guy who is running a network to like some of the most powerful people in the world, they're going to tap into that and go, hey, we want a piece. We want something. We want some info. And they're going to keep him in the game.
Of course.
So,
And what's interesting is that, the FBI, and there are good people in some of these organizations, and I mean good in a relative sense. Good, like they're against fucking kids.
Right.
They're not really against, throwing people in jail for no reason. Or,
right.
I mean, so it's good. Let's use good in let's.
Lindsay England doesn't support pedophiles, but
right.
She like butt pyramids.
I love the angle that Abu Ghraib soldiers come out to condemn Epstein.
Yeah. This is no way to live. This is no way to run a country.
We were doing it for the country.
I mean, look, didn't
Seymour Hersh
have he was saying that they were fucking kids.
Seymour Hersh said that they have a videotape of children being sodomized or raped by, I don't know, defense contract members of the military, somebody, and then at Abu
Ghraib, right?
Yeah, at Abu Ghraib, and there's screams and shrieks, and the military was paranoid these tapes were going to get out, and those tapes were, I guess, to get the parents of the kids or something to talk.
I mean, have you just what happened to like drugs?
What
happened to look in the 60s they had, what was that?
This is when like I'll be at a lunch and somebody's like, well, America's probably going to fall apart. I'm like, yeah, listen, I'm not trying to I'm not saying that I don't want any harm to come to you or your family, but like, man, if any of this shit is true, we have the seeds of our destruction.
Do you think it is them just being evil and trying and like, or is it some pedophile going, hey, I get him to talk. I'll fuck this kid. And like, you know what I mean? Like, is that going to work? Yeah. Trust me. I've done this before.
Yeah. Like they just hire some pedophile. He's like, listen, you fucking people are amateurs. Here's what has to be done. There's no other way that anyone's going to talk. Yeah.
The whole thing with like the fucking, the Monarch program where they were trying to like fuck kids into like disassociating.
Yeah.
And it's like how many times are you going to fuck a kid before it becomes an assassin?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
A lot. It's horrible shit to laugh at, folks, but we're living in hell. I've said that before.
Yeah,
I don't know what you want. I mean, I'm glad I'm out of New York. I'm glad I'm leaving New York. What are your feelings on New York as it is right now? I'm over it and I'm ready to go.
Look, if you got money, which I don't, it's nice. I mean, I would like to go someplace where I can fucking swing an axe.
Yeah,
to go fishing.
Yeah,
shoot a shotgun in the air for no reason.
Yeah,
Montana maybe. Or
let me ask you.
Yeah,
is that when do you think you can make that a reality?
Montana, I think, is being co-opted by the rich, so that's not going to be great.
They're buying a lot of land in Montana.
Well, if I was willing to like live in a humid place like Louisiana,
are you?
I'm not.
When are you going to be done with the Brooklyn thing?
I mean, I work in like media stuff, so I mean, if it's not Brooklyn, maybe it's Lower East Side. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I am starting to get into more like color work, which is like more lucrative. So maybe I can kind of change my quality of life in a couple of years.
But you're tied down.
I'm tied down to like a major city. I go to LA. I go to Hollywood. Maybe I should.
Right. My roommate's coming in. Congratulate him. Semifinals.
Alan, congratulations! I heard the good news. It's the quarterfinals, semifinals. That's even better. Congratulations.
1,000. If you win, what do you get? $1,000?
It's all happening.
$1,000.
This is
New York is a dream factory.
Let's break open the champagne. But no, look, there's nothing here. I don't know what. Like there's restaurants. Like what? Here's the thing. You go and you live in like a fucking place with a lake. You can go in a kayak. I mean, if you live on Long Island, right? You can go kayaking, you can go fishing. I mean, there's nice things there, but it's like, who can afford that? So they have that in like Michigan, maybe. So maybe I should go live in Michigan. But like, what kind of job? I should become a trucker, maybe.
I mean, that job is going to go. Everyone says that's going to go.
Yeah, Andrew Yang's are all about like.
Yeah, they're all saying. But if
maybe I get the Andrew Yang
they
money.
Showed a photo of you as one of the truckers who was losing their job,
right?
America would go good.
You're Mr. Robot.
They would be like, put AI in that vehicle,
right?
And this guy should get no universal basic income. Run him over with the truck.
What kind of money do you need to live in this city where it's not like annoying? Because it's definitely not what I have.
Several hundred,
right? Because even if you have like 150, you have a nicer place.
No,
but it's
mean, you need real money, and you got really the New York life. Not to sound like a rich cunt, it is that finance guy life of you have your beach house on Long Island, you have your nice apartment in Tribeca or wherever. You fuck what you want as long as they want it to. Consent matters. You eat the best shit.
Because you used to have that fucking St. Mark's, that fucking Lower East Side.
None of it. There's none of it.
But that is because the fucking city was going bankrupt. And so it was all decrepit. And so artists can come live here. And that's, once that ended, there's
comedy now is embarrassing.
It's
to tell someone you're a comedian.
I don't do it. And people who know I'm a comedian, they're like, oh, it's going great. Like, why do you think, look, if they saw me and think, oh, you're a funny guy, fair enough.
Right.
But it's like, oh, you're a comedian, that's great. And it's like, every third fucking person you meet in Brooklyn is a goddamn comedian.
Yeah.
They're all terrible.
Yeah.
And you know what these kids are? These are all fucking theater kids. High school theater kids.
Yes.
Grown up. And it's just none of them are like even the funny person in their friend group.
No, they're all theater kids. There's a real theater kid energy, which is very supportive. And comedians used to be kind of cutthroat. You had to get good.
Yeah.
It's a different kind of energy. When I started, people wouldn't talk to you if you bombed at mics. It was kind of, brutal.
Right.
Theater kid energy is like, we all love each other and we're the best. And And by the way, that's not real theater energy. That's theater kid energy.
No, theater, yeah.
Real theater is exactly what comedy was. Cutthroat, you gotta be good, tough, you whatever.
Right.
But theater kid energy, like high school theater program in your fucking suburbs, is what we have now. It is an ultra supportive circle jerk, and the industry is just feeding into it.
Well, I don't even look. People go, "Oh, it's too PC."
It's not that. It's not even that. It's not even that.
It's just a big nothing.
It's a glorification of just losers.
Yeah.
A lot of people you meet in the industry, you're like, you walked around a high school with no confidence, and you shouldn't have any now. That's the problem.
I mean, even the people who have some stuff, like this whole thing with Dina over the weekend.
Yeah, Dina Hashem made it.
I love Dina Hashem. She's great, and I support her. And the idea of threatening a comic is insane.
Right.
But these people, like this guy, look, I'm all cool with people going after this guy who's like this comic,
right?
Who fucking went, whatever. But this guy like hosts a game show on Netflix,
right?
Like this is what this has become.
Yes.
Like, hey, you're not a real comic. He knows,
right?
He knows he's not. Like you think he cares that the fucking guys at the stand don't respect? This is all post collapse.
None of it. None of it matters.
Right.
We're walking around in the ruins, and trying to find meaning. And it's just like, I look at it now as like, I love making people laugh. I love doing this on whatever level I can do it for whoever wants to come out and see it. But the culture is disgusting.
It's terrible. I mean, like there's some on an individual level, there's some good people I've met. I don't keep up with too many of them. But like as a whole, like the idea of when we go like one of these like some party at a bar for some comedian's birthday, and it feels gross.
I performed at a comedy club. I won't say which one. One of our major fans, very big fan, she gave me a tour of the city I was in, and she brought you up. She's one of your Patreon subscribers. She's a big fan of you. She thinks Lucy's very smart. And as soon as anyone's that plugged into our lives, I'm like nervous. I'm like, what's happening?
Right.
But she took me to lunch. She drove me around. And, it was very funny. She goes, I'd never been to that club. And the club, by the way, I'm not making any specific comment about the club because this club is literally every club for the most part, other than like 5 of them. She just looked at me afterwards. She goes, it's kind of sad in there. It's kind of sad.
Yeah.
And it's like these Midwest clubs and Northeast, it's not the region, but a lot of comedy clubs, they look like they're from the 80s. A guy will get up who's featuring for you in like a cheap blazer, and he'll do like 80s jokes. Then he'll sit down and complain. He'll be like, these fucking YouTube guys, they're taking everything from me. And it's like, sir. The host will be some, chubby chick who's like, I'm thinking of moving to New York. I'm like, oh, good. How old are you? She's like 38. It's like, wow. It's a broken world.
I mean, honestly, there's a lot of talented people out there. Way more talented. I mean, I'm not being bitter or anything, but it's just like, there's like a handful of people who I think are actually even doing anything that's like, even kind of like, relevant or kind of like matters, like makes any kind of like shaking the webs off of any, like you used to have Carlin and Pryor and Kinsey.
Wow.
I mean, they were the exceptional guys, but I mean, you still have like guys like, you're great and fucking, what's his name? Doug Stanhope.
My bigger problem.
My point is just everyone's just kind of, I don't know. It's the problem is everything's so viscerally there in front of you in this society now. Like it's all fucking like, chaos all the time. That it's like,
I think the whole thing is we're in this era and we don't really know. We haven't made that jump yet because the gatekeepers still have a little bit of relevance, even though that's diminishing every day.
Right.
And by the way, I'm not optimistic per se in a world without the gatekeepers. Like everyone, I'll go out to dinner and somebody's like, well, now the people can decide. I'm like, God help us.
Yeah.
God help us. The people
act like comedy will just go on forever indefinitely. And it's like, jazz was big in the 40s or whatever, right? Like, and then like it declined in the 60s. You could see more jazz than you can now. The 70s, the 80s, but like now you have a couple places you can see good jazz. Like it's still around. Right. You still have comedy, but the idea that like basically like so we had the boom in the 80s, right?
Yeah,
and it's a trajectory and goes up and down, but the general arc is going to be like.
Well, it's also listen. I hate to say it. It doesn't necessarily make me happy, but the future is really going to predominantly be digital.
Yeah.
The future is going to be watching things that excite you about people and then maybe going out to see them live. But the whole idea of comedians getting festivals and late night sets, that
That's
is
what I mean.
all
Like that paradigm of it. You
that
have
is-
funny people.
Yeah, that is done.
Yeah.
That is done. Trump gets out there, says whatever the fuck he wants. He's the president. The idea that very stilted, scripted, in some cases predictable, formulaic jokes are gonna be the thing.
Right.
No, that's why people are into it. That's why people are into but to me, it's like there's a real desperation and clinginess, and it's always unattractive to be somebody who's clinging to the past, especially when that past is like a sad Midwest comedy club where you get up there with a suit jacket and tell garbage jokes. It's like you're not doing anything.
I think part of the problem is that I guess all art could fall into this, but I think comedy is the kind of thing when people, like, especially like with podcasts and stuff, people listen to it and like some people just enjoy it. And we've always talked about that. Like just enjoy something like that. That's the perfect way to be. But like so many people go, I want to do this now. And it's just self-fulfilling cycle of like, it's just everyone, this whole society, everyone wants it to be them. They want to be the person.
Yeah.
And like no one, and so everyone's just doing this kind of like, you know, look, some people are born for this. Some people are born to be fucking great at this. And like, but a lot of people just aren't, they're just waylaying like, you know, some better development in their life.
mean, listen, I'll tell you this. If you want to be in comedy, stay away from people that support you without a reason.
Right.
If you are, and this is probably goes for anything, but if you're getting a lot of support for no damn reason, you need to look at who those people are. And you know,
what's that thing you always said?
Yeah.
Unfunny people stick together like the mafia.
Unfunny people stick together like the mafia used to. You know? The mafia no longer does. Those guys rat. They get out of jail. Right. They go on YouTube. They start doing podcasts.
I've been watching on YouTube, not comedy stuff. I've been watching a lot of prison talk.
Yeah.
These guys fresh out of prison, Big Herc, shout out. And there's one video about how he has Fat Rat on, who's a guy. And like he wasn't a rat though, so I don't know why it's his name. But basically, that these prisons even are turning into all CIs and all like rats. And he goes he gets transferred to a prison, and the guard's like, hey, look, 80% of my guys are rats. If you fucking try to start shit with them, you know, I ain't gonna have it. And it's just a new reality.
Yeah,
it's just everyone's a rat.
Everybody's a rat.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, there's no benefit to not being a rat.
Yeah.
We've created a society like. That is a thing. Cornel West was talking about it on Rogan, where it's like, honor and character. I mean, could anything be could anything? Like, I mean, you know, we've created an image society where the image of what people, you know, you put forward an image that may or may not be true.
Right.
And that's my thing. That's why I'm I'm glad to get out of the culture of comedy. How long have we done?
107.
Okay. We're wrapping it up. But I'm glad something about LA. I like, there's a culture there that I gravitate to more. People seem to be individuals, even though there's a lot of support.
Yeah.
People support each other. There seems to be, it's lonelier there.
Right.
It's different there.
And you feel like you'll sell each other out if you have to.
Well, I don't know about that. But see, that's the thing. You would never have to. There's that romanticized idea of like, oh, if you were cutthroat, you could. It's not even that.
Good point.
It's really not even that.
Right.
What it is it's the final leg of the trip, and you'll walk it alone. You'll walk the final plank alone out there.
Yeah.
And if it ends. Like a lot of these fuckers in New York, everything's together. And if they walk in a club with 9 other people, you know.
So is most of it people who started in New York or Chicago or something?
Yeah. I know. Some people started there. I mean,
right.
Yeah.
But is it definitely mostly like the opposite?
I think there's a lot of transplants, but I don't know.
Okay.
But it seems to be, and I wasn't shitting on the Midwest. You know, listen, every comedy club, older comedy club has the same aesthetic.
Yeah.
And it just feels, you know, a little past its prime. And the people that are, you know, it's like no longer, like when people start bitching about, oh, these YouTube guys, it's like, dude, some of them are more interesting and entertaining.
I mean, look,
I don't know what to tell you.
Who was that thing? The Fuck Force 10 or whatever?
Team 10.
Team 10. I mean, look, I haven't watched their stuff, but I watch guys who like do historical, medieval battle reenactments.
Yeah, well, that's what they're doing, right? At Team 10, they do historical battle reenactments. It's the same thing. They do Civil War reenactments in West Hollywood.
The point niche is my point.
Thanks for fucking hurting my fucking point. I'm doing a podcast with him soon, Logan Paul. By the way, I'm excited about that. Yeah, but I don't want to say how and when.
Okay.
The point is,
are you going to be the dead body he finds?
Listen, I would, and this is the problem. These people in there, need to be that dead body.
Yeah.
Play your fucking position.
That's a great point.
Play your position. Some of these fuckers running out here, they're like, like some guy said to me in a green room recently, he goes, it's not about doing TV anymore. It's about doing the right TV. And I'm like, what? Sir, can you stop living in the world of these cliche sir, we're living in the ruins. What do you not get? It's over. Bad Baby is a millionaire. The president is
Bad Baby.
The girl who said, Catch Me Outside.
Okay.
She's a star.
Yeah.
Donald Trump is the president.
Yeah.
Jersey Shore is back for another go, and it's one of the highest rated shows. Are you really sitting here looking to try to make sense out of the climate?
What's the right TV, Kimmel?
I mean, at this point, the right TV is running around with an AR-15 because that's the only way you're going to get press.
You think I should move out to LA?
I mean, you would be interesting in LA. I think you should visit.
You think? Yeah. Do you think I would thrive out there? Of course, if I transform myself, but if I didn't transform
Here's what you would like about it.
Yeah.
Here's what you would like about it, I think. There's no this community.
Mm-hmm.
There's a community at the Comedy Store.
Right.
Okay. And there's a community but the city of LA is so vast. It's so large. It's very hard. You really have to be okay not being able to just meet up with people immediately. You have to make plans with people. I think that you might like that there's no bullshit community. It's just it is what it is.
Yeah.
And there are people out, everybody's trying to do something out there.
Yeah.
But it just doesn't lend itself. Like New York.
Yeah, I've never liked the social. I mean, I got along with people like me, but I never liked it. I never liked
there's a soullessness to LA. That gives New York a little bit of soul.
Right.
Even that community, valid or not, there's a soulful quality to what they're trying to recreate. They're failing.
Yeah.
They're not creating, but they're trying to approximate something they read about or saw in a documentary.
Right.
LA is really not trying to do that. They're not trying to do that. It's just, pedal to the metal.
Plus they put French fries in the burritos, right?
I mean, they do that in San Diego, but you can get a California burrito in LA.
That sounds nice. So yeah.
I mean, listen, when I moved, somebody texted me, "Welcome to hell." It was like, it's the
LA's hell?
Yeah. It's the desert. It's hot. It's the last leg of the journey. And it's literally,
right.
I mean, and it's time to go. It's time to, time to make the last leg of the journey. And it's like, whatever happens. And, I don't.
What will you miss? What are the few things you'll actually miss? And I know, don't say your family.
No, I mean, my last episode was called "Cancel Your Family."
Oh yeah, of course. Mostly, I'm assuming restaurants, probably. Rendazzo's.
I walked around. I will miss restaurants. I'll miss places like Rendazzo's. But I walked around this area, Astoria, yesterday, and the amount of diversity and the amount of diverse people in different stages of pain, walking around, it's raw.
Yeah.
And you're connected to that. And you're connected to the feeling that you and these people share to an extent, this community or this experience. And there's something really interesting about that. And of all the places that I've lived, but I mean, I've lived in Long Island and a bunch of different places in the city. This part of Queens has more of the old New York than really any part of Manhattan and most parts of Brooklyn, unless you really go out to like Brighton Beach or whatever.
Yeah.
And I will miss that. I mean, I bought a belt for $12 and it was just a nice belt.
Where?
Nice leather belt right up the block at some guy selling shoes and belts, and the shoes are in a bin, and there's
Did
just
you, like, the guy take it off his body and give it to you?
No, it was just a belt. Like that I'll miss. LA, to get to that store, that's 2 blocks from my house here. In LA, to get to that store, it's a 30-minute Uber, and the belt's $90. Like, there's something about.
So let me ask you, because like we were talking before about like St. Mark's and Lower East Side, how it used to be. And I always remember like these movies and stuff, Hollywood, like Sunset Boulevard, like they had like that same kind of grimy vibe. And some, is that gone too in LA, or is that still there?
I mean, I don't know. I think those parts of LA seem like Disney World.
Oh, there. Okay. Yeah.
I mean, I don't know, to an extent. I mean,
there's no more hustlers and like and scammers.
LA history is never as vibrant as it was in New York.
Right.
I mean, even though New York is a very forward-thinking place, New York's history is so rich, so textured. LA history is movie history, which fades. That just fades.
Right, but I would think you would think like the street urchins and the predators and the hustlers, you got a lot of people coming in all the time to be part of this Hollywood machine, so they're fucking good marks, keep the machine going.
I mean, the hustlers and the street urchins and the truly dishonest, contemptible, morally bankrupt people are all sitting in offices with suits.
Fair point.
I mean, if you're just stabbing people, there's a limit to the damage you can do. Where can people find you?
You can find me. My podcast is called Kump. I also have another podcast with Lucy Steiner, Our Love is Disgusting. They're both available anywhere on iTunes or whatever the fuck you get.
Anywhere you get your casts.
Get your podcast. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Ray Kump. Yeah, that's great.
Very good, folks. I will be, if you care, I will be at American Comedy Company in San Diego, August 1st through the 3rd. August 4th, I'm going down to Charlotte Comedy Zone. Then I'm going to be at Zany's in Nashville, the Star Dome in Hoover, Alabama, and Stand Up Live in Huntsville, Alabama. It's a good run, August 5th through the 4th through the 8th, 4th through the 9th down there. And then I'll be at Good Nights in North Carolina, I believe August 22nd through the 24th, late August. Come see me with dates in September coming up too. I'll be at the Stress Factory in New Brunswick. I'll be going back to the Comedy Connection, Providence, Rhode Island, first time there. I'll be at thanks to everyone who came out to Hilarity's great club in Cleveland, Ohio. That was really fun. That one it's not as depressing. It's an old opera theater. It's beautiful. But Tim J. Dillon, Dillon on Instagram and Twitter. The podcast we'll be back every week now. We will be on the porch, me, Devin, and Ben. This is our final episode from New York. It's going to be the final episode of Tim Dillon's Going to Hell. The name is going to change to The Tim Dillon Show.
What prompted that?
Well, I've been to hell.
Yeah. Okay.
We went. We did it. So.
But ad revenue?
Yeah. Well, no, I mean, I don't think ad revenue cares. I mean, that is the benefit of all of this.
Yeah.
Trump being president. What are you going to say? I offended you? No, it's time for new.
Sure.
It's time for new.
You're keeping the sequential numbering.
Yeah. The Tim Dillon Show, and it's going to be the same show, same RSS feed, same everything. But I thought this was a fitting one to do. I was like, who am I going to get in? And I'm like, we should have Ray in. And a lot of people should check you out because you are one of those characters that are being driven out of New York, sadly.
Yeah, I feel like I'm constantly being kind of poked with sharp sticks.
Yeah.
It's not a friendly place for someone like me, but I'm also I lash out at people. So I'll be fine. I'll come see you in LA. I'll fucking come out.
You gotta come see me in LA.
I'll be pushing some kind of food cart maybe.
Ray is the bagel guy. If the bagel guy had enough awareness to know that yelling doesn't even help, me and Ray are those people. We're just past the point. We just sit down and eat the bagel,
right?
Because we know.
Look at her fucking laughing at me, scowling.
Nothing good is coming.
Yeah.
And even for this bagel guy, his life will be worse in 6 months because people are going to get sick of him real quick. He's going to get a few free drinks. He's going to get he'll go on Jim and Sam.
Right.
But in 6 months, it's not. I mean, fast forward, he's in a movie.
He's a fucking band leader on Kimmel. He's got maracas.
I mean, I don't know. I think Long Island tragedy seems to always.
No one has any real sympathy for Long Island. No, and
I used to wonder why, and man, has that question been answered?
Right.
I've pitched a bunch of shows that have centered Long Island, and they did not get off the fucking ground.
Yeah.
And I've always wondered why. And I got to be honest, and we've talked about this. We'll kind of end the show by saying this. And I've said it before. I'll say it again. Of all the collections of white trash on the planet, okay, there is no collection of them that has less charm or less redeeming qualities than Long Island. They're not folksy hill people. They're not like Duck Hunter. What do you call them? Duck Dynasty. Like, and they're millionaires. I'm not saying, but they're not those kind of people either that are like living off the fat of the land.
They're not trackers.
No. What are they? I mean, how would you even describe them? Because
they're people who know the best place to get a grandma slice. That's what they do. Which blockbuster has the better copy of Armageddon? I don't know. Like they're consumer.
I think of all the things that we've done on this show that we had for 2.5 years, one of them that people connected with the most, other than the conspiracy stuff and all of that, which we'll have archives. You can hear some of that. But what I think we really did was I can still get messages where it's like, you guys have just hit Long Island in the most accurate way. You've just nailed it. We've just really nailed it.
Well, because most of the people who judge it aren't a part of the real underbelly. And we were.
Yes.
That Pizza Hut lunch buffet.
Subprime mortgages.
We were eating that pizza. Gleefully. I mean, we weren't just going, we were saying it was gross, but we were shoving it down our fat gullet at a pace that kept up with all the other slobs there.
Yeah.
We had a certain perspective that usually, you don't want to, when you hear some fucking guy, he's eating sushi and he's fucking got one of those nice pocket squares.
Yeah.
And he's talking shit about some slob from the fucking Tri-County. No one wants that. We have the inside track because we are these people. We are deep down.
We're
slobs.
Two people sitting at a bar, whispering in your ear, pointing to everyone else at the bar going, these people are pigs. That's really what it is.
Yeah.
We're whispering in your ear going, you see these people? They're fucking pigs. TimDillonComedy.com. Goodbye.